Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome back to the coffee break. It's story time. Yes, I've got another story to tell and to share right here on the coffee break. But before we get started, I just want to remind you of all the little things right up front. And that is, if you have a comment, you want to get involved in the conversation or share your ideas, experiences, or thoughts, or what have you, then you can do that in the comment boxes below. If you like the video, don't forget to give me a big thumbs up. And hit subscribe and the notification bell so you'll get more stories later on down the road as I post them 3 times a week. And also don't forget to share, email blast, tell people to join us on the coffee break. Okay? Now that that's all said and done, I want to tell you a little story. Okay? It's story time again. We've been doing that a lot lately. And today's story is just sharing with you my experience about, at a time in my life when I was a kid. I remember I was in Republic, Missouri. And I was having a hard time as a kid trying to figure out how to do a couple of things, okay? And I did have a couple of people trying to show me how to do it, and I just couldn't accomplish it. I guess I was just too dumb or something to do the basic little things that kids learn how to do, such as whistle and blow bubbles out of bubble gum. Now, this is not any fancy story today, but it is a story about how I learned it, because I do remember it very distinctly and very clearly, and how difficult it was for someone like me to figure out how to do it. I was an only child. And I was a loner. I was shy and very confused as a kid, I think. Very naive at the same time. But yet I was very inquisitive and, artistic in a sort of way, and inquisitive and liked to explore and live in my imagination. So there are all these elements that helped propel me forward and overcome certain things in life. And I was, in a way, because I was a loner and by myself, kind of vigilant, resilient in a way, and persistent, despite all the shyness and reservedness and what have you. So when it came time to figure out, how to do the whistling, I was having a hard time. I was going, I didn't know how to pucker my lips, I guess. I don't know. And I just couldn't get the whistle to come out. And I've never figured out how to do the whistle with your fingers in your mouth at all. I've never been able to do that. And for a while, I was trying to learn how to do the whistling by putting a blade of grass between your thumbs and trying to blow through it to get sort of a whistly sound. But that's really not self-sustained whistling through your own mouth and lips. So I was trying to figure it out. And I wanted to share with you how I figured it out, finally figured it out. And that had to do with a fella that I was visiting in Republic. I don't even remember who it was at this point in time, but somebody in the family of the moment that I had at that time in life figured out that I was having problems and decided that the best way to teach me how to whistle was to give me the remains of a .22 bullet. Yeah, a bullet that was a shell that had already been used, and what was left on it was just the bottom part of the shell. It was hollow and empty, but you could use it like you could blow in a jug, like, a big moonshine jug, and make music by blowing in the jug. But this little .22 bullet casing could be used to put into your mouth, kind of like if you were blowing on a flute, which I think I could probably never play as well. But in fact, I tried to play the trumpet once in elementary school, and that didn't work out so well. That's another story. But you could put this, he gave me this bullet casing, and he said, just hold it up to the bottom of your tip of your bottom lip, and then sort of try to blow down into the bullet casing. And after I did that for a period of time, it would start blowing a whistle. And I don't know why, but that's what helped me get to the idea of how to shape my lips in a way that I could actually whistle. And now I'm not a great whistler even today, but I can whistle now. And that's what helped me get there, was a 22 bullet shell. Blowing down into it. And then I could finally get my lips, instead of blowing down into the shell, shaped up so I could go like that and actually learn how to whistle. Now, some people might think it should be very easy to learn how to whistle. It's just like they said, who said it? Marlene Dietrich, I think she said it in a movie one time. You just pucker up your lips. What is it? You pucker up and blow. Something like that. I'm sure I got that all butchered and wrong, but for me it wasn't so easy. Weird story about how I learned how to whistle through a 22 bullet shell. Now that may not be so odd. I mean, I bet you there are probably other people who learned how to whistle that way too, but you know, I tried everything, and that's what ended up teaching me was a 22 bullet shell. I don't know, that's kind of crazy. And now I can whistle out and turn the reverse and whistle in. I don't know how I can do that, but I can do that. And, you know, I'm not very great at it. I mean, I could, if I worked on it a bit and I was learning how to whistle for a song, I bet I could do a better job than just regular whistling. But that's my whistling story. Now, the bubble gum, I really don't know why I couldn't. It's the same thing. I couldn't get my bubble gum. I couldn't blow bubbles in bubble gum. And I don't know what it took to finally get me to do it, but that was around the same time period I learned how to blow bubbles out of the gum. I would just keep doing it with trying to push the the gum with my tongue and push it out and then try to blow, and it would just always sort of rip. And it would just never blow. And suddenly, out of nowhere, I could get a tiny little bubble. What is up with that? You know, why couldn't you just, I mean, if it's just the substance that you're chewing on and you're blowing bubbles, then it should just naturally do it when you do the process. But I guess bubblegum blowing takes practice too. And I finally could blow a bubble by just continuing to practice. And I wasn't afraid to practice. Like I said, I was a little vigilant and persistent and resilient in many ways. And though I don't have a magic formula for how I figured out how to blow a bubble out of bubble gum, it just took a long time to do it. So stick with it, kids, if you're watching. But the funny part of the story for me was just how I learned how to whistle. And I guess, you know, by learning how to whistle, that eventually helped me figure out how to blow a bubble out of bubble gum, because they use, you know, you're using your mouth, and you're using your mouth in the right ways in order to make that happen. And while that isn't just like, you know, how to be successful in life, you know, blowing bubbles and learning to whistle, you know, it does take practice, and it takes, you know, perseverance, that's what I mean, to do it. And anyways, neither here nor there, but that's my stories for the day. How to whistle and how to blow a bubble in a bubble gum. I really think it's a mystery on that last one, but it just took me a long time to do it. So those are my stories I felt like I wanted to share today, because I thought it was unique on the whistling part of it anyway. And I'd like to know how you learned how to whistle or blow a bubble in bubble gum. So don't forget to leave your experience in the comment box below. Okay? And I look forward to talking to you next time here on the Coffee Break. I will come up with some more stories. And if you have some ideas that you would like to talk about, or you have a question or a story idea that I should look into, then leave that in the comment boxes, like I said. And I'll be happy to look at it and try to figure it out and get to it. Anyway, I really appreciate this time to share these little stories with you. Like I said, they're neither here nor there or anything, but they're my stories, and I just want to share them and archive them right here on the Coffee Break. And we'll do some more of that, so I'll look forward to seeing you next time. And until then, have a great day. Bye for now.